Got this movie called The Piano Lesson. So it starts with this guy named Willie and his best friend Lyman. Now Lyman's got this truck full of watermelons, right? Now he's tried to travel. They end up traveling to Pittsburgh. He goes up there to see his uncle Doker and his sister Bernice. And she's got a daughter by the name of Maritha. I'm gonna call her Martha because I can't keep pronouncing her name. Now he's catching up with everybody, you know what I'm saying? Now see, the big reason why he's there is that he's trying to sell these watermelons, but he's also trying to sell Bernice's piano. Which Doker's telling him, man, she ain't going for that shit. The thing is, if he can sell the watermelons and the piano, he'll get himself enough money. He could buy like 100 acres of land. But it's not any particular land. It's the land that Willie's father used to work for. His father used to work on these sunflower farms. Now Willie's father passed away, but I'll get to that in a minute. I ended up talking about this dude by the name of Sutter, right? Now apparently Sutter fell down a well and killed himself. But people are saying this legend of the ghost of the yellow dog was the one that killed Sutter. Now Willie don't believe in none of this garbage, you know what I'm saying? But apparently white folks do. Now you gotta think to yourself, this is like 1936 at this time. Now Bernice doesn't even want her brother Willie there, but for one particular reason. Cause she thinks he's the one that killed Sutter. I'll explain who Sutter is in a minute. Then we also found out about a dude by the name of Crawley. Crawley was friends with Lyman and Willie. And this is another reason why Lyman wants to stay in Pittsburgh. See, the thing is, Crawley got killed on a mission to try to steal wood. The thing was, all three of them were supposed to be transferring some wood, but they ended up getting some extra on the side. Now the thing was, they ended up getting stopped trying to cross riverbeds by some people or whatever. Might have been sheriffs or something, but who knows. The thing they didn't know at the time was Crawley had a gun. He pulled out, people started shooting him, he was done deal dead as shit. In the process, Lyman got shot in his stomach. But like I said, he was able to survive and be able with Willie, you know what I'm saying, to go to Pittsburgh. So basically, Lyman's wanted in that town. That's the reason why he don't want to go back. As we know, Willie wants to go back so he can buy up the land, but obviously he needs money for the watermelons and the piano, which Bernice is not trying to give him. And later on, this dude by the name of Whiny Boy comes through. He's like best friends with Doker. And Doker ends up talking to him about this preacher by the name of Avery. Now, Avery's been trying to get married to Bernice for a long time, but she keeps turning him down because she says she's not ready to move on. Now, the preacher's getting some money together so he can buy this church. And once he gets everything straight, Bernice will finally talk to him, you know, settle down with this whole thing and try to get married. Now, Doker, Whiny Boy, Lyman, and Willie, they all sitting at the table having a drink and whatnot. So Willie at one point is like, man, fuck this, we're going to try to move this piano. But when they move the piano, him and Lyman, the lights start flickering and whatnot. And then they end up putting the piano back because they think it's too heavy. Now, the first night Willie is there, Bernice is up in the room. She's getting herself ready for bed. And she ends up seeing a ghost in Martha's room, and she thinks it's the ghost of Sutter. So she runs downstairs in the Doker's arms, scared to death, right? Now, Willie's thinking that she's just seeing shit. Which he goes up there and checks, he don't see nothing. But she's also scared that Martha might see her too. They might see him too. So back to Whiny Boy, Doker, Lyman, and Willie all sitting at the table drinking or whatever like that. Then they start singing hymns. Now, Whiny Boy was talking about this lady named Cleo, who used to be his wife, but she passed away. They didn't really say what from, though. Now, Willie keeps talking about moving his piano, right? And Lyman ends up seeing these carvings on the piano, right? The thing is, Lyman doesn't know the history about this piano. So now Doker's about to tell him. Now, Whiny Boy used to play the piano forever, you know what I'm saying? He actually helped carry it around at one point. Alright, so let's get to the backstory of this piano. Now, this takes place in 1911. James Sutter was actually a slave owner, right? And pretty much their whole family was slaves to him. He had his wife by the name of Miss Othello. He was trying to get her something, but he didn't know what to buy her. He ends up talking to another slave owner by the name of Noah Findler. I think I got his name right. Anyway, the thing is, he ain't had no money to buy a piano, so he was going to try and make a trade. Sutter traded 2 of his slaves to get that piano. The 2 slaves he traded at the time was Bernice and her mom, Esther. Othello got the piano and she used to play it until she died. Now, I guess at some point in time, Noah Linder, found out one of Sutter's slaves was like a handcrafter or whatever like that. So he wanted to trade the piano back and get him, but obviously he wasn't going to let him go. This handcrafter happened to be Doker's father, Charles. I don't know what happened and when he found time to do this, but then Charles started carving faces on the piano. The faces he carved was his family's faces. Now, how he remembered his father's faces is a mystery beyond me because his father died when he was little. But he carved everybody's faces on the piano. So one night when all the slave owners and all that stuff were at this picnic, Doker and Whiny Boy took the piano and they took a couple horses or whatever and got Willie and got the hell up out of there and they ended up being in Pittsburgh. Now, Willie's dad stuck around. Why? To keep the illusion that he was still there. The thing was he used to tend to Sutter's sunflower seed farms. I guess Sutter's people found out about it because, you know, the sheriff came through, was a couple other heads, right? They ended up burning down the house that Willie's father was in. Thinking that Willie's father was still in the house, but he already saw them coming. He was already running out the back. He ran all the way to this train and ended up getting on the back of the cart, whatever like that, with these 3 other guys. They were probably slaves too, trying to get away. The thing is, some white people stopped the cart. They ended up burning that cart alive. Everybody was done deal dead as shit. The theory goes is the people who were on the cart are supposed to be the ghost of the yellow dog. But that's just a theory everybody stuck to for years. Now the thing is, Sutter is not the only person that's falling in this well. It's about 10 to 12 other people. So they're thinking to themselves, all these people ain't just gonna be falling in this well and dying. So that's where the story of the ghost of the yellow dogs come from. But Bernice thinking Willie killed Sutter makes no sense. He was like a little kid back at that time. But ever since Willie came in the house, I think it's her first time seeing Sutter in the house as a ghost and whatnot. So basically, she's blaming it on Willie. There's another reason she don't like him being in the house. Remember the dude Crawley I was talking about? The one that died in that little accident where they were lifting wood or whatever? Turns out that was Bernice's boyfriend at one time. Crawley was also the one that gave her a daughter, ergo Martha. And she still hasn't let go of that, ergo the reason why she's so hesitant to not marry Avery. Now throughout all this, Willie and Lyman end up selling all the watermelons. They get their money. Whiny Boy ends up giving Lyman a suit for cheap, you know what I'm saying? Because if he's going to stay there, he's going to have to wear suits and stuff like that. Willie, in the meantime, saving up his money. Obviously, he's going to want that piano. But Willie and Lyman going to have some fun. They end up going to the saloon that night. So while they're at the saloon picking up girls, Bernice was taking a bath. All of a sudden, she gets a knock at the door. Turns out it's Avery. He tries to marry her again. She's still not accepting. And at this point, Avery's getting frustrated a little bit. But the conversation calms down when she starts talking about Sutter. Now, the thing is, she wants Avery to bless the house. But Avery doesn't know if he can handle that because he doesn't think he's that kind of preacher. Then he tells her God could do anything through all eyes or whatever like that. And then it gets to a point where he tells you got to exercise this demon and actually play the piano. See, the thing here with this, she's not played that piano. Hell, she hasn't even touched it since her mom died. The only reason she has it because of sentimental value for one, and two, for her daughter to play it. Now, the thing is, she ain't got the courage to play the piano. She tells Avery to leave. But he says he'll come by tomorrow and bless the house. Now, back at the saloon, Lyman's got this one girl he's talking to, but he ain't feeling it. Willie ends up smashing another chick that he runs into. He gonna give it a business. Lyman ends up going home and talking to Bernice. Lyman tells him, man, he ain't trying to miss these scallywags. He needs a real woman. It gets to this point you can feel the tension in the air. And then he ends up giving her this perfume. He said some dude gave it to her, talking about it was a perfume that the Queen of France had. He's not sure if it's true or not, but that's what the guy told him. She smells it, smells nice. He starts putting it on her neck. And then out the blue, they start kissing. But then she backs off, takes the perfume. She ends up going upstairs, and then he ends up going to sleep on the couch. Then we get to the point where it's nighttime again, the next night or whatever. Willie and Bernice are arguing about the piano. Doker's trying to calm them down, while Bernice is still braiding Martha's hair. See, the thing is, Willie's trying to buy up this land, for, to have something prosper for. He's trying to buy up the land that his father had to work on for years. Bernice saying there's too much blood, sweat, and tears from her mom trying to clean the piano, doing all that stuff for like 16, 17 years. Who knows everything else they went through while this time was going down, you know what I'm saying? You gotta think to yourself, they were technically all still slaves. So they both got their beliefs and they both clash with their shit, you know what I'm saying? So neither side is bending. While they're arguing, the lights start flickering or whatever like that, and Martha actually ends up seeing the ghost of Sutter. Yeah, it's wild. So at this point, it's just Willie, Bernice, Doker, Martha in the house. And Willie's been waiting on Lyman because his plan is he's just going to move the piano out regardless. Lyman comes back. We don't know where the heck he was at. Avery comes to the door. Everybody's there. It gets to the point where Willie and Lyman about to move the daggone piano. Bernice goes upstairs, comes back down. I'm like, what the heck has she got in her pockets? Then all of a sudden, Whiny Boy comes out of nowhere. He's drunk as hell. He's talking crazy, and all of a sudden he gets on the piano and just starts playing. Lights start flickering again. I think it gets to the point where everybody starts believing. Even Willie. So the thing is, Willie starts running upstairs. Now, why? Because every time Bernice and Martha end up seeing Sutter, he was always upstairs. So he basically tries to go upstairs looking for him. Then gets pushed off the stairs. He's like, the fuck? So he ends up running up the stairs again. While that's happening, Avery's preaching the word, doing some type of like exorcism. Then we see Willie pent up against the wall, and Shutter's actually choking him on the wall. We're like, oh shit. The ghost of Sutter, right? So Avery's doing all this preaching, and it gets to the point where he doesn't think it's working. He starts looking at Bernice, and Bernice finally gets to the piano and starts playing. Basically trying to make sure the spirit exits the house. After that, Shutter's incantation, whatever like that, turns to flames and he ends up disappearing. I guess they exorcised the demon. So it got to a point, Willie came back downstairs. He gave in. Bernice gives him a hug. Willie ends up going back to the town. Last thing we see is the next morning where Bernice and Martha are playing on the piano. Willie's looking over the sunflower farms as he's driving past. The land is still for sale. Which means he wasn't able to get enough money to buy it and he keeps on driving off. Man, I got questions. Did Willie not have another option other than to try to get that piano to try to sell it? I mean, hell, he was able to get a truck full of watermelons. Why did Sutter keep appearing upstairs when the piano was downstairs? Now, Sutter was killed in the well as far as 12 other people, right? Why specifically were the ghosts of Yellow Dog pushing all these people in wells? What is the well connected to? You know what I'm saying? Is that the only way these ghosts could finish off these slave owners? Now, I understand that Willie and Bernice had two different beliefs. She felt like everybody's actions in the past were getting people killed. She wanted to live a quiet life in Pittsburgh. Willie, on the other hand, was about making things happen. because he didn't want to grow up like his father without having nothing to show for it. I mean, honestly, I get both sides. Even if he got that piano at the house, what was he going to do? Put it on the truck? I guess if a truck could hold a bunch of watermelons, it could hold a piano, right? But now I know Doker didn't have any say in it because he could really care less about that damn piano. He was trying to keep peace in the house because he knew Bernice was not going to sell that shit. He was also trying to understand where Willie was coming from, but the bottom line is, it was actually Doker's house. He just wanted peace and quiet. Now, I guess Whiny Boy was playing his piano all over the place, you know what I'm saying, making extra money so they could actually have a house and all that stuff, right? Then again, I'm not sure how Doker got his money, but anyway. Lyman's a ride or die. He stuck by Willie the whole time. Taking shots for him, you know, when he was trying to get a whole bunch of wood, getting watermelons off a truck so he could sell it. Now, I think Lyman actually stole the truck. I'm not entirely sure on that. Probably another reason why he didn't want to go back into the town. Now, I know the reason why Willie's dad stayed, so he wouldn't tip off Doker, Whiny Boy, and his son, you know what I'm saying, on the trip to Pittsburgh. And at that point, he did think he could escape when he seen people, but obviously he didn't, because they burnt out the fucking train. And the sheriffs probably thought everybody was on trains, but obviously they left by horse and carriage. How the fuck they got to Pittsburgh through that? I have no fucking clue. The Piano Lesson on Netflix. Check it out.